All right, so thank you for doing this interview with us. So, first question: what got you interested in the film industry?
Oh man, film industry. I was as a kid, I was really shy, and I didn't really have friends, couldn't speak to the girls at all without going red until I was like in my 20s, and so I would just hide in movies. And back then it was like a 4:3 TV, it was VHS videos, and I guess everyone says it, but it really was Star Wars was like one of the earlier movies I remember really getting involved in. There was some really cool. There was another movie out in 1977 called Smoking the Bandit, and with Burt Reynolds, that was the second highest grossing movie that year under Star Wars. And I just fell in love with it. At the time, I didn't know what it was because I didn't understand. I didn't understand film, so I didn't know what it was I liked. I just knew I liked like Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones and stuff. I thought I liked special effects, or rather, the people around me told me that's what I liked. So I thought I would go into an industry in special effects, but this is like early 90s. No one had a clue. Like, how'd you get in? My careers advisor didn't know. You know, there was no YouTube. There was just nothing. There was no director's commentary giving you advice. You just had to try and work it out for yourself. Then couldn't work it out, so I didn't do that. But I left school a little bit of cowardice as well. I didn't go off to uni immediately. Didn't really know what I wanted to do, but really I was just shy. And eventually got jobs, worked in bars, built up my confidence, and in a small break between jobs, I went traveling. So I went to like Australia, Southeast Asia, so like Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand. And when I was out there, I kept looking for cinemas and finding English-speaking films. And I watched like The Grinch 3 times. And I realized when I was out there that film was my passion. Like I could have been on the beach and I kept looking for films. So when I came back, I called the uni who kind of knew who I was and said, I'm interested in doing films. But they wouldn't let me do a film course because I had no show reel, which back then was really, really hard to get because you'd have to make it on film. But I had an art and design background, so they said I could do animation. But unis do that a lot. They will push you to the course that they need to launch. So I did an animation, H&D, which was 2 years, and topped it up with a film course.
Bit of a slow burn then, your interest in film to begin with at least.
Yeah, and even then I didn't know how you get a job out of that. And even my degree, I didn't get taught that. Like my degree was, it was fun, but I got high grades as soon as I walked in the door. Because I was thinking, because I was not very good at school, am I going to be able to do this? And they were just like, talk about film. So right, I got really high grades straight away. Still didn't learn how to make film though, and I still didn't really learn how to make film, and I certainly didn't know how to get a job in the industry. And my lecturers at that time didn't have jobs in the industry. They were just theorists, like professors, PhDs and stuff. So on the greater scheme thing, it's kind of a waste of
time. Relatable. Okay. So what film project would you say you've enjoyed working on the most?
None of them. I hate them all.
Really?
Yeah.
That's depressing.
Yeah, totally. It's because I didn't know why I was making films. And actually, I shouldn't have been making films. It's not what I wanted to be doing. So I know that sounds confusing. It took me a while to work out. The thing I loved about films wasn't making films. It wasn't make-believe. It wasn't working on sets because I hate all that stuff. I did it because I thought that's what I wanted to do, and I thought that would make me happy, but it doesn't. What I loved with this was the hero's journey, this narrative structure that goes throughout. So I love the idea of that you're an ordinary guy on like Tatooine, a farm boy, and you get the call to adventure, but you don't answer it because it's freaking scary, right? Like Luke Skywalker's complaining the whole time. I want to get out of here. I want to go join, what's his friend called? I would say Dax, but I don't think it is Dax. Wedge or someone like that.
Wedge. Wedge
and then Ben's like, you must come with me. And he's like, no, I can't come. It's like, dude, you've just been complaining the whole movie about how you want to get off this farm, and there's your opportunity, and you say no. Which is what heroes do, because we don't want to be glory hunters. And then, something happens. It forces him on his adventure, and he meets mentors. Ben Kenobi. He finds allies, Chewie and Han, and he gets gifts. And he goes and overcomes, threshold guardians like stormtroopers. Gets into the cave, which is the Death Star. Saves the princess. Comes home. All good. That's what I like. I like living your life according to the hero's journey as a life coaching tool. And that empowers us all to step out of our comfort zone. And I just feel that we're in a system that wants to keep us small and tiny and dull, whereas we should be shining brightly and being us at like 1,000 degrees, but we don't. So I was drawn more to that. So the funnest project, I had fun on some of them, are the ones that I had the most impact with. So there's not many. Recently we did a Snapchat. We launched the Cumbria Police's Snapchat channel. That was fun because I had high engagement and it felt like we did something good. And not many of my other movies can I say that about. It's all just all the stuff I warn you guys against doing, like mania projects. I mean, it's fun. It's trash. Like, not any of my movies have improved the world in any way. So what a waste of time.
Might have improved the lives of people who've seen them just a little bit, even just for the duration of the film.
Not really.
Well, okay.
I mean,
debatable.
Then it's just escapism. There's better forms of escape because you can have escapism and have positive representation, or have something someone can cling to. Like, the Mania Project's got a chair that goes around killing people.
Yeah, okay. I get what you mean, I think.
Alright, so when it comes to filming and making projects, obviously there's going to be a lot of obstacles. So what are some of the biggest challenges you face in the film industry, and what did you do to overcome them?
I didn't really get into the film industry. I think I was too old when I kind of graduated and got into it. I went and took jobs mainly to be a good teacher. So I've worked as a runner, and I've worked for free on screen agency films and that kind of thing. The obstacles it's all linked to the same stuff. Not knowing why you're doing it, not having a kind of one of your values linked into it, which should be the main one. And then it's just ego and working with people who don't share your vision. But if you don't have a vision, how can you share it? And if you don't have a mission, no one's heading in the same direction. So I just worked with annoying people. Not their fault, I'm sure I was annoying as well. And you fall out with people. Like, I don't speak to any of the directors I've worked with. I never really worked with the same people more than once. There's a small group of us who did, but even then it was like, the movies weren't that great. So it's finding the right people to work with and making sure you're heading in the right direction. And I'm kind of making a long answer, and that's kind of quite simple, but that's probably what it is. And you guys must be realizing this. You get into a wrong group and it's just hell. You find the right people to work with and it's fine. And you see this in movies, in Hollywood movies. There's a reason why certain directors and actors work with the same people time and time again. It's because they had fun doing it. Like, I don't massively like the Ocean's 13 and Ocean's 12 movies, but those guys had fun. Like, they basically rang up all their friends and like, do you want to go make a movie? They're like, yeah, I do. Why, Joss Whedon annoys me now, but he does that really well. And you just see it. I like it. If you can get that kind of vibe going, what's not to like?
Positive networking.
Yeah, exactly. Positive networking, like-minded people, and that goes in terms of personal beliefs as well.
Yeah, makes sense. You mentioned the Keswick Film Festival before.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were kind of interested in what your involvement with that was.
Why are you so stunned that I named the Ospreys the Ospreys?
It's not stunning.
It's because I've entered quite a few things into the Ospreys,
Sure.
and I never knew it was you.
Why would they advertise it? No one at that point knows who I am. They probably don't know who I am now. But
It just seems slightly surprising that you just mentioned it offhand.
okay, so I moved up to the Lake District. I followed a girl up here, and her parents lived in Keswick, so I moved up and went to Keswick. I don't know how this really happened. Somehow I networked my way in and got to know that there was a Keswick film club, and it was at the local cinema. So because I was teaching film, I was like, okay, well, I'm making film. I think I'd asked them for a favour. I can't remember. I think I'd asked them if they can provide like a prop or something for a film. So I kind of knew who they were. And then they were like, oh, we need committee members. It would be good to have younger people, like fresh opinions. I was like, all right, I'll be a committee member of the Keswick Film Festival. But then once a year they did the Keswick Film that was the Keswick Film Club. Once a year they did the Keswick Film Festival, so I became a committee member on that and helped them with programming and things. And that was fun. Got to do Q&As with Ken Loach and do cool screenings and things. That was fun. But I then moved up to Carlisle, but I kept in contact. And just one night I just messaged them and just gave them some tips. And I said that they should start charging, which they didn't do. I just felt like it was okay to charge because then you can have like prizes or better marketing or whatever, and filmmakers budget for that kind of stuff. Otherwise, they're not doing a very good job. And if they don't believe in their film enough to pay a small amount, then it's probably not worth watching. Whereas what happened when I was on one of the judges is you just get rubbish. And we're like, this guy knows this film's no good, so you're just wasting our time. And at that same time, I'd been looking at other festivals, so I'd come across the Berlin Film Festival, which I think is the Golden Bear. Might be wrong, but I think that's what it's called. And I was like, that's better, because I don't want to be a winner of like the first place winner at Keswick Film Festival. Like, it's a weird thing. It doesn't sound that prestigious.
It doesn't sound like a proper award.
Exactly. Like, I know the Berlin Film Festival because it's the Golden Bear. If it wasn't the Golden Bear, I wouldn't, it wouldn't be on my radar. And so I just did some research, and Keswick have got the osprey conservation area. I think we've got like a mating pair of ospreys, which are really, really rare. And I was like, this would be brilliant. I emailed them. I was like, you can call your festival the Ospreys, then you get a gold, silver, bronze osprey, which sounds way more badass. And you can have a fee to enter and donate it to the freaking Ospreys. Win-win. And they liked the Osprey name. They didn't like the charging name. And also, they didn't like my film that year. They didn't accept it.
Well,
I know, right?
To the award that you named as well.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was Closure I entered. They were like, but because I was pretty active then, my name was on like 4 different films. And they were like, but this film got in where you're like an associate producer. And this film also got in where you're like something else. So yeah, but I directed that one. That's the better one. So, but that's just a key example. Get involved in your local community. Get known. Like, I'm still shaking the film guy image because I was so embedded in that. Still get called by like, radio and media. But, this actor's died. Can we get a quote? So yeah, I'm not the film guy anymore though. I'm this guy.
So
I'd like that brand, to be honest.
Just put content out there.
So you recently wrote a book, Level Up
Yeah.
Your Teens, A Guide to Hack Your Life.
Yeah.
And it won a few awards as well.
Yes.
What inspired you to write that book?
Oh man, this is like a huge question because when my daughter was born in January 2016, I was diagnosed with postnatal depression, and I realised that I'd probably been struggling. Well, in the fight back, I had a day where I was happy, and I was like, well, I've never felt this before. Hang on, I don't think I've been happy my entire life. I think I just thought life was like all right, and you just get by, and you just, some days are good, some days are bad. But if you can break the bubble, you can actually be happy, and it feels amazing. So when you see those people going around who are always happy and they annoy you, it's probably because you're not that happy. So I realised I had anxiety and depression most of my life, and in a fight back against postnatal depression, I did a ton of work and training to develop the skills to manage it. And in doing so, I realised actually how achievable that is, but also that when I held my daughter, I kind of looked at her and realised that no parent looks at their kid and it's like, well, I hope they grow up unhappy and worried about how they look on camera and their body image and worrying about threats of terrorism or whatever, and gets a job that they hate and works 40, 50 hours a week until they die. No parent does that. And I found that when I broke the depression, the love I felt for my daughter was just so insane that it actually spilled out onto all of you guys and everyone on the planet, because you start to realize that everyone was a baby at some point. 1, 2, 3, 4, you guys were all amazing. There was no hatred, no racism, no sexism. You didn't lack confidence. You all learned how to walk. One of the hardest things you can learn. You always learn a language. That's it. Do you know how hard it is to learn a language? Like, I don't understand how my daughter understands that this is a drawing of a fish. This is a jigsaw piece of a fish. That's a cartoon fish. That's a real fish at the aquarium. And this is a fish finger. And she's like, fish. I'm like, that's insane. And this is the word fish in capitals. And this is the word fish without capitals. It's like, there's so many things for you guys to learn. And you did it without even thinking. And you never thought, walking's really hard. I'm going to quit. Like, I'm never going to be able to do this. I'm just going to crawl around for the rest of my life. You never thought that. So you had unlimited courage. You had absolute joy of being in your body. You had absolute kind of emotional intelligence in terms of you didn't worry about what other people think, and you allowed your emotions to come free. You were just purely you. We were all like that. So then I realized that if anyone is acting like a dick, or is unhappy or struggling or mean, that's just their programming. Like, everything throughout our childhood is programmed. And I can see that from secondary school, because we're seeing people come out of secondary school with low self-esteem and high levels of mental health issues. And I see it here over the last 10 years of teaching. Mental health issues are on the rise. And it sucks. Schools let you down. The media's let you down. No generation before have been inundated with negative imagery and programming from birth to the level you guys have. So I was like, well, if I can do a book maybe I can help more teenagers. And one of my students said there needs to be a you in every room. But what's a book? A book is you think it's something really complex and really big. And I got given a book for Christmas. It was like 20 pages, and then got another book that was like 100 pages. And I was like, I could actually probably write this. So I started putting out content anyway, and to put it into a book wasn't that hard. And the feedback was really good. There's no gatekeepers anymore. You guys want to be an author? Go write a book. Like, there's no publishers you have to get past anymore. You can just write it in a Word document and upload it to Amazon, and it's on Kindle. You can get Amazon to print it for you if you want to have a print book. Stuff's not hard. But this all goes back to Hero's Journey stuff. So it links back. That was my epiphany going back to when I was, 12, that there's a reason Indiana Jones is afraid of snakes, and John McClane cries in the first Die Hard, pulling out glass in the bathroom. And there's a reason Brody in Jaws is afraid of water. Like, heroes are supposed to have a weakness, and that's okay. Otherwise, what are you? And not only that, but people like you more if they know what your flaw is. We don't like perfect people. We don't like Superman because he's a bit too perfect. We like messed up characters like Punisher and Batman. So I just started sharing my flaws. The other link with that is the two biggest pains I felt in my life, no one talks about. So when we had our first miscarriage, I had no clue that was on the radar. Like, no clue. We didn't even assume that was a possibility. We assumed that happened to people who drank or smoked or were unhealthy or whatever during pregnancy. But once we started talking about it, everyone was like, oh, we've had a miscarriage. Oh, we've had 3 miscarriages. My mum was like, oh yeah, I've had a miscarriage. No one think to warn me that this was a possibility. And then depression, postnatal depression to start with, but also depression in men, we don't talk about it and we kill ourselves. We get depression less than women, but women deal with it better. So when men get less depression, but kill themselves more. And it's because we don't talk. And going back to the mental element, there was a guy, people like Stephen Fry and Matt Haig talk about depression a lot. And I read Matt Haig's book, and that probably saved my life. So I was like, well, he's doing it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to add to the discussion, which goes back to why I moved away from filmmaking, because I wrote the book because it might do some good in the world, whereas my films don't. So I'm very careful with what film projects I take on now.
That's really good. The last question I'd want to ask then would be kind of following on from that. I know you've mentioned before about wanting to do more speaking and things
Sure.
like that. Just wondering what you're planning on doing next. Maybe another book or something like that.
Yeah, it's like I've got limited time, but then I see people with more kids than me, and I don't know how they do it. There's a couple of books I've got in line. I'm just not sure when. I think that might be a summer thing. I'm basically building my brand, and the brand gets a lot of negativity because people think it's not authentic. Well, they think it's manufactured, and it isn't. Your personal brand is you working out who you are and digging deep, because your mind is cluttered from the media you consume, your parents' voice, your friend's voice. And if you can work out who you are, you know that you can work to keep that consistent in your online presence. You also then get known for being you. So at the moment, I'm just putting out more content. I'm now kind of known as the depression guy. I talk about mental health and parenting a lot, and fatherhood, which I like, because that gives me that's me doing good, which I like. But now I'm trying to incorporate social media, communication, and leadership, because they're all linked. And if you think about communication, we all communicate online, but do it badly. But even in person, we communicate so much through screens now that we've forgotten how to talk to one another. And it's really simple to pick up some rapport skills and communication skills. And most of the conflicts I see is through miscommunication. So if you can learn how to communicate effectively, you can actually be a lot happier and see the best in people. So it's my aim is, I'm setting up a consultancy. My aim is to go and help people deal with modern technology, because it's overwhelming. I've got a master's in this, and in media futures, and it's hard for me to keep up to date with modern technology in terms of social media. So my job is to go into kind of companies or corporations, even individuals, and say, this is how you use social media. I know it's scary. This is how it can improve your profit or your brand or whatever. I also can then deal with self-limiting beliefs and anxiety, because it stuns me how many people are scared to go live on Facebook, or even have their photo on their own website. It's like, what's been done to you that you don't want your photo on your website, that you don't want your face associated with your company? That's insane to me. That then links in with, so that's kind of social media and then personal branding. And then that links into leadership because managers tend to be quite bad. Well, first of all, we're all leaders because if you communicate with anyone in any way, that means you have influence. And if you have influence, you're a leader because somebody's following your example. Whether you can be seen, whether you act or don't act, whether you talk or don't talk. And like we said, I think earlier with a student who said he didn't think he had any influence. And then I was like, you're an example to somebody. And he immediately came up with an example. It was like, oh yeah, this person at church did this, this, and this. Yeah. You don't realize how often people are watching you and being inspired by you. So are you being a inspirational, positive influence? Or are you putting out negativity? And even by being lazy, people are, oh, he's lazy. He's not doing the work. I'm not going to do the work either. And you can be a force for good. So leadership comes down to managers need to empower their staff to give them power. So it might be a little thing that instead of having a logo on their Twitter account, they have a picture of the person who manages their Twitter account. Because their banner can be their logo. But if I tweet Tesco's, I don't want to tweet Tesco's. I want to tweet Katie at Tesco's. I want to have a human interaction. I want to make sure a person is listening to me. Companies don't want to do that because then they worry that the person is going to do something wrong. They're going to get into trouble. No, they won't. Because people will forgive Katie. They won't forgive Tesco's because there's a face to it, right? So managers as leaders can do more to empower their staff, but also they can then lead the way and they can embrace authenticity more and be more vulnerable. Managers, there's a leadership style called command and control where you basically monitor everything and there's no trust and you're watched all the time. And new leadership is moving away from that. They're doing things like, flexi time, you can work from home, much more trust is given. As long as you get the work done, you're fine. There's managers, good leaders are also saying what their vulnerabilities are, what their fears are. They're much more open in terms of budgets. Because if you do that, your workforce is more productive. If you hear there's a rumor of redundancy and you do nothing about it, all the staff the rumors are going to be worse. They're going to leave anyway. Whereas if you're open and be like, okay, look, this is our budget, this is how much we've made. If we can make this much money, we can do this, this, and this. If people know where you're going, they'll join you. If your mission is in line with their mission, which is another thing you'll see all the time now. Corporations are saying, this is our mission. We want to do this, and this. Or this is our company, but for every pair of trainers you buy, we plant a tree in freaking Zimbabwe or whatever, So you can get in line with their mission. So that's my aim. It's getting more traction as an author, writing on more online publications, maybe another book. Definitely getting work as a speaker. I really enjoy doing that. Going in and doing training in corporations, also doing medium-term coaching for individuals, just bringing them up to speed with the modern world and now enabling them to get the most out of life. Because no one should be unhappy. It's 2017, you should be doing a job you love and making good money at it. Not because it's for the money, but if you do something you love, you have passion, which means you're going to work hard at it. And passion's infective, emotion's infectious. So why won't people want to be around you? You'll find your tribe. They'll flock to passion. That's what they do. So yeah, that's the ultimate aim in the next few years, I suppose. But it's already happening. It's fun and exciting. But if you're doing something in line with your passion, why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, it just seems a natural fit as well.
Yeah. But honestly, dude, I've done so much work, like personality tests, asking family members, like, who am I? And I liked it next door when Amy Todd Hunter said, I'm not going to ask that question because I know your rant already. It's like, wow. And she's met me like 10 times. And she knows, she's probably got a 10-minute rant prepared in her head that she knows I will say in response to that question. That's how well she knows me. Because I don't say something different. I'm not wearing a mask here and then I'm going to go to my martial arts studio and be different, then go on Facebook Live tonight and be different. It's me in every room. And that hurts because sometimes people don't like you. And it's not they don't like you, they don't like the true you. Because I'm like naked here, it's just me. And I can't be like, oh, they just didn't like me at work. Or oh, they didn't like that mask I wear. No, it was me. But the people who connect you fall in love with you more. And they become more loyal and more supportive. And you have a tribe. And as human beings, we want a tribe. We want to fit in. The problem is you guys are all trying to fit in with the wrong tribe. You're trying to fit in with people who don't get you. Or you've got a shield up or a mask up. And that's not a way to happiness. You find like-minded people and it's amazing.